our contributions in education will be our legacy in this industry.
Whether it's through live education or maybe through social media, we're always trying to make a personal connection with you, the learner.
At Samvia, we believe our smile is our business card and our personality is our logo. And how we make people feel after you experience our education and tools is our trademark.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us, my friends, and be a part of the Samvia community. Hi, everyone. Samvia here. And once again, I always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. I see we have some people from India, from California, from Canada, from Virginia, from Mauritius, from Colorado, from Italy. This is just so awesome. Let's see, where else we have some people from. Just type in there where you're from. Hi, Jan from Vegas. As a matter of fact, speaking of Vegas, why don't we bring the man on behind the scenes? Let's bring up co-founder of Samvia, Kurt Gerheim. Kurt, how are you, buddy?
Hello, Samvia. Viva Las Vegas, baby. Only 150.
By the way, how are the Gold Knights?
Golden Knights up 3-1 in our first round of the playoffs. Go to you NHL fans out there. Know we love our Knights in Las Vegas.
Especially those Canadians. I see Vancouver's in the mix, yeah. Calgary's in the mix. It's pretty interesting to see what's happening on that NHL. For those of you that are going, what are they talking about? Just let it go.
Just put up.
Mr. G, listen, I just want to say thanks. For those of you that don't know Kurt, he is a co-founder of Samvia. We've been long lifetime friends for over 40 years, and Kurt's manning the back. Andrew has had an extended weekend. He's taken a nice holiday out there camping, and you'll see Andrew back on board on Wednesday, and we'll talk about that. Today, guys, Kurt, I'm going to talk about basics. I'm going to keep it really basic in what we're talking about today. And I think if there's any time right now, Kurt, the basics are well needed. Just having some strong fundamentals in terms of what you're doing and understanding why you get the end result that you get. Kurt, what special we have today? We also have a special, right?
Yes, we do. Today, as you know, it's the special of the day. It's some new introductory feature that we're bringing to our weekly shows now. And that means you have an opportunity to get a special deal from one of our Samvia tools today during on Tuesday when we have our Transformational Tuesdays. Today's gift, or not gift, but certainly opportunity, is the Artist Series comb set, 50% off. So just go to the website, 50% off with our Artist Series comb set. And I know, Sam, you're really proud of the design of these combs.
Yes.
And it's a great, great opportunity today.
Well, I went to grab my comb set. This is what it comes in, guys. And then I open it up and voila, they are missing. So Kurt will pop that up and you'll be able to see it, but they're great barbering combs. They're designed by Andrew Carruthers, the education director. You'll absolutely love them. Kurt, what a mix of people today. I've got South Carolina on, and I've got North Carolina, Vermont, Texas, Myrtle Beach, Chicago, Mexico. Sandra, ¿cómo estás? We got Lisa from New York, New Zealand. Mana Dave, if you know Mana Dave from New Zealand, he may be a guest on our show, What's Going On, where he and I are trying to play phone tag, make that happen. But keep an eye out for Mana Dave from New Zealand. But welcome, my dear, or who is that, from New Zealand. We also have India on board. We've got Florida. Welcome, Florida,
Yeah,
Kansas,
it's
Ohio.
really fantastic that the world joins us each day.
Yeah,
I think it just makes us all feel pretty good about the reality that we're hairdressers all over the world, and they're here sharing education with you, Sam. The idea of going to the basics, I think, is really critical right now when we're all having this window of opportunity to hone our skills.
Yes, that's for sure. And there's plenty for everybody. And we're all about it, Samvia, artists supporting artists. Greece is on board. Yolis wants me to speak. We want you to speak Spanish. Yolis, my Spanish, my dear, unfortunately, I'm embarrassed to say it's not the best, pero puedo hablar con mis manos y con mi corazón. ¿Entiendes? All right. But let's see. Bolivia's on board. Massachusetts, Portland, Oregon. Glad to see you're on board, Diane. And once again, Ontario, Canada is on board. Baltimore. Wow. What a mix. All right. So, Kurt, I want to get started. I want to talk about the basics. I'll bring you back
Go
on.
do your thing, my friend.
Keep the questions coming as they come up, brother.
You got it. Everyone, pop your questions in. We'll get them up on the screen as appropriate. Have a great class, Sammy.
All right, brother. All right. So let's get into some basics. And I think, Yolis, eso está muy bien. Gracias, mija. All right. Let's talk about the basics. I think basics and fundamentals and discipline in terms of how you work are so critical, especially in today's world. And what I mean by that is if you have strong fundamentals and you understand why you get the end result you get, it makes your work a lot easier. You're saving yourself time. And I think we've all been hearing that out there, people talking about time. Maximize your time with maximize your results with minimum effort. Let me say it again. Maximize your results with minimum effort. I think that should be an objective for every hairdresser out there. How do I get to the end result without sacrificing quality of work? How do I get to the end result in a shorter period of time? Now, what do you mean by that, Sam? Well, I'm going to go back to if we understand how to get to the end result, it makes your work easier. So I'm going to take you through a couple of things. And the first thing we have to understand is this tool. It's called the comb. All right, let's just talk about some things out there. And hopefully I've got some schools on board, Kurt. If you're a school, hey, I got Arnold's Beauty School. Again, you guys are always on your back and you're ready to transform your Tuesday. Let's transformation in regards to the basics and understanding things. All right. So everyone out there, you know you work with a comb. At Samvia, we choose to work with a black comb and a white comb. And the reason being is if I put a black comb against a white surface, there's contrast. If I take a white comb on light color of hair, the comb tends to get lost. So when I have dark levels of color, hair color that I'm working with, I'll work with a comb. So I can actually see the extension of the line I'm cutting with. Well, what do you mean, Sam? Well, if I work with a dark comb, and you can see that the comb kind of gets lost, I might think that that's vertical. I'm going to cut vertical, but let's take a look at the true extension of the line from way up here to down here. And you can see, look at that. It's slightly on a diagonal. Now that is where I need to be, vertical. Is this making sense, guys? So you can see why I choose to make the combs white and why I choose to make them black. So white comb, dark levels of color, dark comb, a black comb on blondes, your lighter levels of color. Okay, now let's talk about the mechanics of the comb. Fine teeth and wide teeth. Obviously detangling, yet less tension. Okay, fine teeth, much more tension. You get a clean sweep. Here, you get a clean sweep, but a wider distribution of hair. This is your sectioning for the comb. All right, so now let's just talk about head form. Understanding the fundamentals of the head form and being able to break that down is so critical. Okay, understand where the points of reference change. So let's go, for example, let's go right here to this front view. Now watch. If I place my comb flush, 3 fingers to that, you can tell I slide my finger off, the comb comes off there. Right there, that's telling me that's a vertical transition, Sam, where the head starts to change direction. Okay. Now, if I don't do that and I simply guess where to section this, I could be sectioning too high, putting hair that doesn't belong below, leaving it below. If we understand the basics of that, you'll really understand in terms of distribution of weight, which we're going to talk about. All right, so let's give you an example. Watch. When I place my comb, look how I'm placing the comb in front of the ear. Okay. Now, once I comb this back, I place it in the front of the ear, and I'm going to get into scissors and cutting, so don't worry, guys. When I place it here, take a look. I place 3 fingers at the flat surface. When I place my index finger there, approximately there is where the head changes direction. That's where it changes direction. Everybody with me on that? Just give me a yes. Okay. So that's important to know, because if I go in and I section this and I choose to section it where it's not coming off, then you're playing a guessing game. Sometimes people will cut a section 2 or 3 times. Okay. When you cut a section 2 or 3 times, that tells me you're playing the tickle waggle game. You look at it and then you recut it again. You play the tickle waggle game. You recut it until you feel or see that's right. That requires time, guys. So if I have a system in place, a fundamental system, a foundational system in place with like our Sam Villa haircutting system that Andrew Carruthers created, we have a breakdown in terms of how it works, which I'm walking you through. So now as I come through, watch how I'll use this. And I place my finger at the opposite end of where I want to draw to. So I'm coming through and I draw to that. Okay. Now you're going to see me step in front and I'm going to make sure that I have the proper balance. Don't worry. I'm going to cut some hair for you. Okay. All right. So now let's take a look at where I'm at. Okay. You can start to see here, I'm coming too far diagonal down. So if I place that comb again, I can see right here, I need to straighten that line out. That's where I belong. Now this is true sectioning to this particular head shape. Let's clarify that every head shape is somewhat different in regards to working with it. What am I doing now? I'm standing in front so I can check my level to make sure that I am level on both sides. Balance is critical. You know, people say, why do you pre-section? Because if I pre-section, I stay more in control. I can control distribution. I can control my sectioning. I can control the amount of hair that I'm working with. Okay. Some people say to me when I teach hands-on class, they say, Sam, I don't section. Okay. Well, then I guarantee if you don't section, you're cutting by feel quite a bit. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to isolate this. Okay. So let's isolate this. Now, I'm going to give you an example why this is important. All right. Now, let's talk about continuing to section. Let's talk about, okay, what's the next thing I need to be aware of? The next important thing that we need to be aware of is we need to be aware of what's the front, what's the back. Okay. Now, I'm going to share with you something. We're wearing hair a lot out. And what Andrew discovered and Jesse, those guys worked really hard on the cutting system, is that they discovered that the head actually has an area in the hairline that it grows up. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. We all know that there is less hair in the front. And the reason being is because the hairline grows down lower here as opposed to the top. Okay. If I go through and I understand, okay, Rosie, on what kind of haircut do you section like this? On all or some haircut? Rosie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the head shapes, the sections, and then I'm going to come back and tell you how I would use this. All right. So I want to answer that for you, Rosie, but allow me to get there when I get to that. But reason sectioning is important. You'll see why. I'm going to show you something one length, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to go through and layer that. But let's understand this first. All right. Now, what I want to understand is there's more hair in the back of the head than there is the front. When we tend to layer haircuts out, we tend to take out more weight in the front than we do in the back. So we've got to be aware of that. Most cases, you'll find that to separate front to back, I simply blouse this up. Can you see how it's split on its own? That's telling me, Sam, this hair naturally wants to collapse and move forward. This hair naturally wants to collapse and move back. So that's important to know. Yet, what we've discovered is that this, if I go through and I leave that there, I'm having a hole here when I layer this out. So this is critical. Watch this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to extend this side area, front side area. I'm going to extend that line further back. And I'm going to work with the corner of the hairline as my point of reference and where to take that. So actually what I'm doing is I'm simply taking hair here, which is really interesting, and I'm adding this into that front side area. You see how that works? Now this is that back area in the back. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. If you need to find your side area first, find it. That's basically what we've all been taught. Okay. Now, if I go in and I just find out that this is a little bit lower, needs to come up slightly higher. All right. Section, as I said, critical, guys, so critical. I want to set myself up to succeed. And Rosie, I'm going to come back to your question in regards to why do you use this? How would you use this? All right. All right. Here. And let's get that out of the way. All right, here we go. Now, front to back. All right, watch me just push. Look how I'm holding the comb. Look how my thumb and my index finger are underneath. Now I just simply push up and it separates itself for me. That's telling me this wants to fall towards the front naturally. Now what I want to do is I want to go in and extend this line further back. And once again, this is what we believe to be the entire side area by just simply extending this back. And once again, I've discovered by doing this, and Andrew sharing this with us, it just really opened up our eyes in regards to especially all the layering we're doing now, how it really protects to not have that hole in that back area. All right, so let's put that away. All right, so now what we've done is we've simply separated into 3 areas: the top and the crown, the side area, and the back area. Now, when I want to go in and find the nape area, all I'm simply doing is placing the comb. Watch the side view of this, profile view. I place the comb here, okay? And now where it comes off, look how I'm placing the bottom of the comb. And I'm going to show you this in a moment, Rosie. Watch how I'm going to cut some hair. Here to there, that's where it comes off. So I'm going to take a section here. Now, this would be my nape area, and this would be my back area. Okay, so just real simple in terms of discovering and knowing this. And now I'm going to show you something. All right, so let's take a shear. All right, always face, remember, this is all about basics. Do you use the same clips on dry hair as you do on wet hair? Thank you for asking that, Nate. These clips that I'm using, these are dry cutting clips, and I love them on wet because of the elastic. It doesn't slip, so it can hold a mass amount of hair. That elastic, when you put the hair, it takes the pressure off the clip, because when I would dry cut, I would round brush or blow dry the hair. Then I'd go to clip up a section. When I took that section down, I had a clip mark. So that releases that clip mark. And then also, sometimes you'll find that these guys bend, they get in odd shapes. Just bend them back so you put the strength back into the clip. You can see that. If it bends like this, now look at the clip. See how you've lost the strength towards the tip? Now all you have to do, I've made these so adjustable, just slightly bend them back, and now you're back to normal in terms of working. Look at that. See, I've got that back to normal. So these clips I'll use for wet and dry. I love these in terms of how we made them specifically for dry. All right, now let's go in. Now watch what I'm going to do. Let's just cut now. And I'm going to cut a 1 length bob. Just cut this hair 1 length. All right, and then let's go in and layer this out. Now, if I do this, watch this. Now I want you to watch this. If I treat this like a box, okay, just like a box, then what happens is I'm cutting a box, a straight line here. But if I keep that in my mindset, I want you to watch profile. Look how I'm positioning this. I'm going to use the spine, keep the comb flat so you can see. Now look how I'm elevating, over directing this hair back to that stationary line that I'm going to cut. What I want you to do is position your hand. Look at the comb. See where it comes off at that point? Position your hand to the shape of the head. So now watch this. Okay. Look at my hand, that position there. Look where I wanted to hold it. You see that? And I'm trying to give you a straight horizontal line there. See that? So now what are you teaching us, Sam? Look at what you're doing in the nape area. You're over directing that, elevating that out. Now watch Sam. I'm going to take this in the middle. Okay, let's eliminate this for a moment. Now, this is going to help you save time correcting things. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut here. Okay, that's going to be my cut right there. Now, when you look at this, Jaya, what you mean by hole behind the ear while layering? Please explain. Jaya, what I mean is their hairline grows up here. See how it grows up? So what happens is when you layer this out, it's more transparent. You can see through it. So want you to understand what we're talking about is there's more hair in the back than there is in the front. And I'll talk to you about how you can maintain more weight in the front by simply the way that you move it. Okay, so let's just watch this for a moment so you can understand the section on this. Watch what I'm going to do. I come through here. That's how I'm going to hold my hand. And now watch me cut a straight line. Now look at what blade's on top. That is my action blade. Watch. If I go like this, now I'm placing the action blade underneath. Let me turn so you can see. There. Watch how the action blade lifts the hair up. See it lift it? It lifts it to the cutting position. What I want to do is put my shear in a position so that what it does is it closes. See, watch it close. My thumb, see it closes on the line. And that's so important to understand how you position your hand. Otherwise, that's why you're getting all those little long links underneath on a bob. Now watch me position my hand directly to that. Now watch me cut. Okay, so there's the fine teeth of the comb. I'm cutting one length hair, wide teeth of the comb. So my last combing angle when cutting one length is with the wide teeth of the comb. And now I come through and I cut a line. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do here. So let me show you with two combs what I'm doing. See, this is the position of my hand. Okay, not one straight line going across. This head is round. Watch what I'm doing here. Follow me to the top. Okay, what we've done is we've taken a horseshoe section. We've defined that in our sectioning as our top and our crown. Then what we did was we took a vertical section from that high point. We came right down and we put some of this hair here into that side area. Most people come from the high point to the top of the ear or just behind the ear. Okay. Then what we did, here's a top view of that. Okay. Then what we did was we placed our comb here, okay, to the hairline. Where it comes off, we determine this is our nape area. Okay, that's the back area and that's the side. Now let's talk about what I'm doing. When I used to cut a bob, I would go like this. Watch this, guys. You got to get this now. Remember, this is about breaking down those basics. Students, listen. When I cut a bob, I'd go cut, 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 cut. Think I better turn. Cut, 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 cut. Cut, 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 cut. Think I better turn. Cut, 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 cut. Then what happened when I combed all this down at these two corners, I had a bunch of long hair underneath. So let's understand what we did. When I take that comb, I place it here. Isn't that interesting? It comes off at that point, off at that point. Now let's do that again. When I place that comb off at that point, look at that. It comes off at that point. Let's just draw a line there. Okay, when I place it here, keep an eye on me, guys. Okay, see how it comes off at that point and off at that point? Now let's move the comb so it comes off at that point, off at that point. Now let's place an X here. Now take a look at what I've done here. Let's put a line there. That's the center part. So can you see what I'm doing is I'm going to cut this. First section I just cut in that back, I went like this. I cut that. Next section I cut is that. Now I'm going to place my hand here and cut that. Then I'm going to place my hand here and cut that. Look at the series of straight lines I'm cutting. Okay? Because I cut a series of straight lines on a round surface, they automatically round themselves out. Now you're wondering, well, Sam, I'm kind of like, I'm following the shape of the head. Let me give it to you this way. Watch. Okay? This is a circle. Does anybody see any straight lines there? Anybody see any straight lines? Okay. Just give me a yes or a no. N-O. Okay. Or an N. Okay. Now watch. When I place this straight line, here's a straight line. When I place a straight line on that, I see a straight line. So what happens is I see a series of straight lines that actually make a circle. What I'm trying to teach you is place your hand to that flat area there. Place your hand to that flat area, cut a series of straight lines, and it automatically rounds itself out. Does this make sense, guys? Okay, so important you understand the why behind this. If you understand this, yeah, it's like pizza slices. Yeah, you could say that. Definitely like pizza slices. Now watch again. Watch this now. Okay, see, because if I don't do this and I cut a straight line, what happens is I've got long hair out here, and I'm trying to keep this bob so it just wraps around the head like this. So in order to cut this, I need to position, 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 position to the head form. Okay, so now watch how I'm going to go here. Okay, now look at my hand. Look at the way it pleats. Now that might look diagonal going down, but it's not, guys. Okay, So what I'm trying to say here, once again, don't cut just a square line in the back. Cut a series of 2 straight lines in regards to what's happening here. Now watch what I'm going to do. Okay. Once you cut this, excuse my back. Once you cut this, put this in blow dry position. Look at my hands. Look at my hands. Look at me work at that. Okay. Because if you don't put this in blow dry position, what's going to happen is you're going to be there and you're going to be saying to yourself, okay, it's flipping up. Well, that's because of the way you're combing it. Look at, see, I'll make that flip up. So you have to be aware of that in terms of that. Now put it in blow dry position. Why? So I can see what's it going to look like in blow dry position. Now I can see all the little things that I need to get out. Joyce, what is the best scissors to use, please? Well, Joyce, that's an easy answer. Samvia shears, that's what I'd recommend. Now come in and take out what I love to refer, all that stuff that's underneath. And the way that you can do that out is just simply cross-check it. Watch me cross-check it. I move it this direction. I'm going to bring this really close so you can see. Okay. I move it in a certain direction to cross-check. Okay. And I take anything out above a line. Look at, see how I move that? Now look at the line that I just cut. Watch this. Look at my shears, even diagonal. Look at all that I'm taking out. But what happens is that allows me to do that because the hair underneath is so short, it's barely moving. When I bring this back, now that is completely blocked off. Madison, can you use this technique with any bob, like an angle bob? Yes, you can. It's a matter of changing your finger angle, which we haven't talked about yet, Aunt Madison. All right. So you can see, look at this side now. Look at that. See how blocked off I got that? Let's go to this side. Watch how I'm going to move this. Watch me move this. And I'm looking to see my solid lines way up there. People go, Sam, it scares me to cut that because I feel like I'm cutting into my line. Watch. And look how I'm putting this in blow dry position. Now you tell me, look at, see how you don't see that line. Yes, the same sectioning for thick hair, same sectioning. All right. Now watch. Look how I'm doing this bob in the back in 2 sections, in 4 sections, excuse me. This is, again, watch me do it again. Now I'm going to go here to the right side. Okay. Now watch how I'm going to give you this profile view of this. Watch what I'm not doing. That's what I'm not doing. Look how I'm over directing that back. I comb this hair in its natural fall. Sam, what do you mean by natural fall? That is what we refer to as a natural position. So you have the vertical distribution and the horizontal distribution. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. But what I want is I want this hair combed in its natural fall. Fine teeth of the comb to clean the section. Because I'm cutting one length hair, wide teeth of the comb. Now I'm ready to go in and cut. See my line, my guide, and cut to that. Okay, comb, wide teeth. Notice how I'm keeping my elevation fairly low. Okay, a lot of times what would happen is I would cut a straight line in the back, and then it would get shorter in the center. And it would get longer out here. Once again, over directing, moving it side to side, moving it in a vertical distribution. See, I'm moving it. Horizontal distribution, moving it. Okay, that creates weight. So you have to be aware of that. Wide teeth, guide. I'm always able to see my guide and I cut to the guide. I never comb past my guide when I'm looking for something to be close to being very, very precise. Okay, now once again, watch me work the back of my hand. Look at me working this into blow dry position. Okay, blow dry position sets you up visually for success too when you put it in blow dry position. Okay, now let's talk. Let's say, for example, guys, that I want to go through and I want to layer this out. All right, so a lot of times what I see when people want to layer this out, they'll go like this. Okay, D, why wide teeth? All right, D, if I use the fine teeth, you are applying tension. Okay, so now you can expect that to spring up. Okay, if I want true one length hair, I want less tension, and the wide teeth gives me less tension. So the fine teeth to clean, I'm cutting one length hair. Sam understands the mechanics of the comb. So now I come through, I'm ready to cut. Wide teeth, now I cut. Now the distribution of tension is even across from left to right, right to left. Have you ever gone and you cut, you're here and you comb and you comb and you comb and you cut. Then when you go through and you blow dry, you notice this little top section here sits higher and this one sits lower. That's because you had more fine teeth combing intention than you did over here. I hope that answers your question. This is what I mean, guys. I want you to understand something. The comb is what creates the mistakes. It's where you comb the hair to. So you have to really, students, listen to me at Arnold's, grab a mannequin and go through just combing the hair. Get comfortable with different positions and combing and flipping and comb, fine teeth, wide teeth. Get comfortable holding that hand in various ways so it makes it comfortable for you. So combing is so important, okay? Would you have your client look downward when doing this cut? Elena, head position is critical, okay? Downward, let me just do this. Do this with me, guys. Stand straight or sit straight. Slide your hand underneath in your hairline. Look how I'm going underneath my hair into my head. Head's position straight up. Okay? If you're there, type Y. I'm waiting for you. I'm not moving till you type a Y. I'm not moving till you type a Y. What's up, Lisa from Buffalo? There we go. I see the Y. All right, now watch. What I want you to do from this position is move your head down. Did you feel the skin stretch? So when the skin stretches, when you pull the hair down, you have to be aware you're stretching that. Your palate is being stretched. I like to cut hair in a one-length position. How do I get their head in one-length position? Take the comb underneath the jawline, hold it, make sure it's horizontal. That is how I walk around in my world. So that's the position you want my head. Watch, if I'm layering this, okay, this is the hair. And I told you to elevate that hair horizontally. And you elevate it horizontally. Okay, does everybody see the horizontal line? You can see the horizontal line. Now, if you push the hair down and I tell you elevate it horizontally, you could elevate it horizontally, but now it's horizontal in relation to this room. When she lifts her head back, what you actually cut was that. Did that make sense? So you can move the head down, but if you're going to leave this in a horizontal elevation, you need to be there. Now that's horizontal. Did that make sense, guys? Give me a okay if that makes sense. Okay? Okay if that makes sense. So I'm not saying you can't move the head. You can move the head, but you better be aware of your vertical distribution. Elevating. How are you distributing this hair? Diagonally, horizontally, above a horizontal line? You have to be aware of that. Does that make sense? So be aware of the head position, guys. Sometimes I got to tell you, out of habit, I just pushed the head down every time I worked in this area. And then after I was done cutting, I found myself going back and cleaning up this area because I had hair overlapping or hair too short. Okay? All right. Now, watch this, Rosie. Remember now, why section like this, Rosie? All right, watch. Now I want to layer this, but I want to keep the strength of the bob. So do I take this wide area from point A to point B and just take a vertical section? And do I say to myself, okay, where am I going to layer this? I think I'll start layering this at that short point right there. Then when I let go of it, you lose the strength of that bob. Watch what Sam's going to do. All I'm simply going to do is find my nape area again. So I find my nape area where that comb comes off. That's where I'm going to draw that line across. Okay, stay with me, Rosie. This is for you now. All right. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to place a clip there. Okay, and I'm going to place a clip across here on the opposite side. Now, Rosie, what this is telling me, Sam, that's where that head changes positions. So if you want to layer this, you're going to take this because you said you want to leave the strength of the bob. Take this as your point of reference, that piece. Now go vertical section. Now this piece of hair right here, that's what I use as my guide, not the underneath. Did that make sense? And what told me to do it this way, I'm going to cut it for you now. What told me to do it this way is the shape of the head. See, there's my short point. Now cut a vertical line. Okay, now let's talk about horizontal distribution. When you elevate the hair, that's a vertical distribution. When you move it side to side, that's a horizontal distribution. I'm moving it horizontally. When I move it backward, I am throwing more length and weight forward. When I move the hair forward, I'm throwing more length and weight to the back. So watch what I mean. Let's stay right here. I'll get this section out of the way. Okay. If you're learning, just give me an L. Give me an L. Give me an L if you're learning. Okay. Vertical section. Now I'm going to use over direction. So I'm going to over direct to a stationary guide. Now let's talk about over direction. Watch this, guys. This is great learning that's happening. Watch. If you want to be consistent, use the spine of the comb. Now you're going to see why it's white. That's the point where I'm over directing to, that center back. So now when the spine of the comb sits on that center back, I come through, I comb out, I follow my guide. That's simple. Okay. Watch again. Here's why I do that. Because if I say I'm going to over direct you, now I'm not aware. I just keep combing, and now look at where I'm at. I have now over directed way past center. So now use the spine of the comb to create consistency. Be aware where you're at. Why? Well, Sam, like I told you in the beginning, guys, this is going to save you time. Let's do both sides now. Come over to this side. Okay. Look at my vertical section. Okay. Go to that vertical center. That's my guide. Now I come through. Now watch the spine of the comb float to the center back. When it's at that center back, I comb out. I look for my guide. There's my guide. And now I come through and cut my vertical line. Take my next vertical section. Okay. This is over directed to the back. Rosie, can you see why I divide that way? So it allows me to work from a point of reference to a point of reference instead of me picking up that tall A to B section vertically and decide, okay, where am I going to layer it? Or start layering it out round. And now you've taken out the weight. Watch this. Okay. Look how I still have the strength of my bob, but now look how I've layered it out. And now look how I continue to put that in blow dry position. Okay. Do you see that? See how I've layered that out? So here's what I hope you learned. Stop working so tall instead of here, here. Now I could have said, you know what? This is fine here. Okay. So I'm going to cut all of this one length and I'm going to use this as this one length all the way down to here. I'm going to use that as my point of reference to layer the top. Does that make sense, guys? So important you get that. All right. So now let's go to the side area. Questions, concerns. Use the spine of the comb to be your guide. Marisa, how are you, sweetheart? I miss you. All right, give my love to the family. Yes, use the spine of the comb not as your guide, but use the spine of the comb as a reference to determine where you're combing to, Marisa. All right, that's important. Use the spine of the comb to know where you're at. One of the things, guys, I guarantee, watch this. You're gonna love this. Okay, how many of you are right-handed? And you actually, can you do this layering on fine curly hair? Yes, it works great. Fantastic. Why? Because you're leaving the weight down at the bottom where fine hair doesn't get so thin and so fine on the perimeter edges. Works great on fine curly hair. All right. Let's see. Where was I going now? All right. Oh, yes. How many of you cut the right side longer than you cut the left side? Okay. Excuse me. You're right-handed. All right. Let me get this right. Sorry. It's been a long weekend. Okay, you cut the left side, you're right-handed, you cut the left side longer, you're right-handed, and your right side is always your short side. If that's true and you're right-handed, just give me a Y. Just give me a Y. Okay. If you're left-handed, you cut left-handed, then I guarantee you what happens is you're cutting the right side longer than you cut the left side. Is this true? Just give me a Y. All right, now let's talk about why. Why does that happen, Sam? All right, I'm going to bring her down a little bit lower. It's all about your body position, where your body is positioned. Okay, so Shirley, I have a question for you, love. Are you left-handed or right-handed? If you're saying, Shirley, if you're saying left side is always longer for me, I take it that you are right-handed. You cut right-handed. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But in general cases, it's your body positioning. So let's talk about that. Let's just watch this now. If I'm cutting on the right side, okay, I'm cutting on the right side, look at me combing, and I'm using Horizontal distribution, meaning I'm over directing a side-to-side movement that determines distribution of weight in the opposite direction. So if I over direct backward, I'm throwing more weight and length forward. So I'm using horizontal distribution. Okay, the hair is moving horizontally, side to side. Now watch this. If whether I choose to cut over my hand, and I'm layering this out like this, or whether I choose to cut palm to palm, what's in front of me right now? There's nothing. Nothing in front of me. So my body continues to move. Let's go to this side. Watch this now. If I'm layering vertically, okay, and I go to cut, whether I cut over my hand or whether I cut palm to palm, what's in front of me now? My arm. So my arm is in front of me, therefore my body won't move. So I have a natural common tendency to overcomb this and over direct. So therefore this is longer. So what do? I see it's longer, I cut the length, but I did not correct the weight inside. Some clients may come back and say, this side grows longer, faster than this side. No, I think you might want to question your distribution of where your body was. Everybody with me on that? So now if you understand this concept right here, okay, watch this. Let's just put points of reference. So here's what we refer to as a corner. That is a corner. Here's front to back. Here's front to back. Here's the corner. Here's a corner. Okay? So now what I want you to do is I want you to take the base of your chair in the salon. Okay? So let's say that this is the base of the chair. Bear with me, guys, all right? That's the chair, and the client sitting in the chair. On the base of the chair, what I want you to do is I want you to take a dry erase marker. And then I want you to just draw these lines out. So let's say, for example, watch. This is green now, watch. That's the center of the chair. From there, I just want you to go diagonal out, connect that diagonal, and go front to back. Now, this is a dry eraser now that sits on the base of the chair. So now when I'm cutting, I now will look at the base of the chair and I'll say, okay, I'm going to over direct all of this hair on this side to that corner. So now when I look at the base of the chair, my body should be standing in the center of that. When I cut this other side, this is a side where I tend to get shorter. This is longer. If I cut this, my body stood there. All I got to do is look down at my chair, see that green line, and I know, center my body there. Most cases, I'm here. And that's because no arm is in my way. Is that making sense, guys? For school, do me a favor, Arnolds. Get some dry erase markers. Put that at the bottom of on the base of the chair, dry erase markers, so you can erase it off. And I got to tell you, it really, really makes a difference understanding where you are standing. Why, Sam? Watch. Because no matter where I'm standing, I will always release and comb to the center of my body. Center of my body. No matter what I'm doing, I will comb to the center of my body. That makes sense, guys. So I got to be aware, where's the center of my body? Because that could affect where I comb to. So important, guys, on this. You have to understand that if you understand the fundamental, then see, I got to go back and say, you're not doing so much corrective work. Now watch this side on the bob. Okay. I want to show you something here. Okay. And remember, we're talking about basics, just some basic things today. Let's continue this bob square. All right. Now watch me cut this side area. Okay. If this is a box, okay, look at the box, then watch how people, sometimes I used to hold my hand like this. But now what I'm doing is I'm elevating more away from here that leaves me more length than I am back here. That's tighter in. So I have to be aware of that. Watch the shape of the head. Look at the comb. Watch the comb now. Keep an eye on the white comb. Look at the angle of the comb. Okay, let me give her straight to you. Look at it goes in. So that is how I hold my hand going in, not here. Type a Y if you got it. Okay. Why, Sam? Because here keeps it nice and square to the shape of the head. if I think of it like a pizza box and I go and hold it here like this, you have, yes, you've cut it square, but what you did is you used the movement of the vertical distribution, elevation, and you made that longer. Now what happens when you blow dry this doesn't want to go under, it kicks out. And you're wondering, why does this kick out? Marilyn, does it matter if the client has her feet crossed during a haircut? Marilyn, to me, what matters is this part up here. So this thing can swivel, do anything you want, and they don't need to move the bottom. So if you're using the shoulders and they cross their legs, okay, I'm going to cross mine, okay, you can see one shoulder is going to drop down. But as long as I'm aware of the head position and the head itself, I'm fine. Some people say, yeah, uncross your knees. Some people don't. If you feel more comfortable, then in terms of being able to create consistency, I highly recommend have them uncross their legs. All right, let's cut this. Now watch. Here I am. I'm going to just give me a little bit of moisture. Are you guys having fun? I got to tell you, sometimes we just forget about the basics and we just start cutting hair and cutting by feel. Cutting by feel requires time. Cutting with a strong fundamental does not require so much time. It actually saves you time. Now look at what I'm doing. I'm going to give you this. Okay, that's the line I'm going to cut. Hold your head straight up from me, my dear. Make sure you're holding your head still. Remember, if you move, then I cut a hole. I make mistakes. Put some fear in them. All right, here we go. Here, that's where I belong. Okay, now watch. When I get to that ear, the front of that ear, I'm connecting that line. Now I'm going to give you a front view of this so you can see. I want you to really see that ear, that hand position. Okay, watch what I mean. Here, now most people here, there. See, that's square to me. I'm pulling to me. Watch. Look at the shape of the head. It goes in. I want to give you more of a view of that. There we go. Okay, watch. That's how I'm going to position my hand. So I'm talking about versus this, that. Okay, watch. I'm going to go in. Okay, and now I'm going to put my comb up here to make sure my hand is going in, not square. When it's in, cut it. Now watch this. And I have not blown dry this, guys. Now watch this. I'm going to position, excuse my back. Okay. Now look at this bob. Now look at the front. Look how that front works. Okay. How I don't have a front tail tipping that forward. And what enables this, what makes this work, is understanding how that shape of the head goes in. It does not sit like this. Okay. Dog ears help with eliminating, please. Dog ears. Yeah, that's pretty tough in terms of that. A lot of people, what I would suggest, the more the ear protrudes, then what you want to do is maybe just tap your comb there. So you get a little bit of a scoop of length that you might need there. But I guarantee you, if you follow to the shape of the head, you should have a corner there and a corner here that allows for that protrusion for it to fill. So just simply go in and tap that, and that'll help you out, guys, in terms of that. All right, now watch. Now let's go through and let's say, for example, I'm going to take this. Watch me cut this very quickly, one length here on this right side. All right. And then watch how I'm going to determine. I'm going to show you another way to layer a bob out, to layer. Now, and that's that top. So now once I've got here, let's talk about natural fall. She wears a center part. Okay, natural fall. This hair grows forward. See how it grows forward? But once it hits that ridge, now gravity takes over and I comb straight down. So I comb with growth pattern, growth pattern, growth pattern. Gravity takes over, I comb straight down. Growth pattern, growth pattern, growth pattern. Hit that parietal ridge or ridge, I comb straight down. Now I have that hair where it lives. Okay. From RSP, Elena, when you're in school, highly recommend keep it wet so you control it. Don't get into dry cutting until you've got some experience working with wet. Really get some good, strong fundamentals, Elena, with hair wet. And that's why I want you to really just grab a mannequin and practice your combing. Practice it in all combing it a number of ways. Combing it to a stationary guide, taking sections and combing them to a traveling guide, I think is important. But really, it's exercise, exercise, exercise. So that is important in terms of being able to go in and control that. And it's all about practice with that comb. So look at me, comb, natural fall, gravity takes over, down. Notice I'm using the wide teeth of the comb, so I have the same tension going through, passing this. I don't switch to fine and then wide, then back to fine. Fine to clean, but when I'm going to cut with the wide. Now watch this exercise in the front. I love to put this where it's going to be blow dried to cut it. So I put my finger at the index, I comb with natural fall, wide teeth, and I comb straight down. Now continue to capture the line. Okay, now watch the shape of this. Okay, watch how this bob is just going to wrap around her head. Okay, take a look. See how that's just wrapping right around her head. That's what I'm looking for. So I didn't cut. Think I better turn, cut. I'm working with that natural fall of the head. All right. Questions? Any questions? Excuse my head. All right. Let's go through and let's layer the front. How are we doing, guys? Nate, if she doesn't part her hair down the middle at this point, would you put the part that she wears it and continue to cut the top? Great question, Nate. Nate, I highly recommend cut it in the middle. Cut it in the middle. Okay. If you cut it on the side, I guarantee this is what happens. All right. How many times have you gone to cut this on the side? Okay. And that's where she tells you she parts it. And you cut this over here. Okay. And then you cut this over here. Okay. And then when she goes to part it, she's playing this game where she's going, okay, this is all one length. And then she has this long piece hanging over here and she's tickling it and trying to place it where it belongs. Highly recommend cut from the middle after you place your cut back in and now move it every direction that you can to really get any length that's going to overlap. How many times have you gone to a movie theater? I'm just going to continue to cut while I'm talking. How many times have you gone to a movie theater, sat behind a one length bob and you see this long hair hanging over it? I just want to take my shears out that I happen to have with me, and I want to go in there and cut those little long pieces over. So allow me to show you a good little trick here to go in and handle that. And it's just basically really working with nature and understanding that her part is going to move. The wind's going to blow it. So there's nothing worse than you cutting it on the side, the wind blows it, and now you've got these long pieces of hair hanging over. So you have to be aware of that, guys, in regards to that. Sam, are there any questions, any exercises that you could give to students when they're at home and they're working with their shears? Students, you should have a pair of shears at home. And then what I'm going to recommend that you do is you're sitting down, and as you're sitting down, here's, I'm wearing shorts. Okay, as I'm sitting down on the sofa, I place my hand this way, and I just keep exercising my thumb. Watch. See the shear? Now, I want to move my thumb. It's my thumb is the action blade. The more I move both, watch the shear move left to right, left to right. Now, chances of cutting a straight line are very seldom. But if I learn how to stabilize and I learn how to work this, just opening and closing, you're going to get much straighter lines. I'm working with the Streamline 6.75, guys. That's what I'm working with today. All right. All right. So let's go through now, and I want to show you how to layer this in terms of, let's say, for example, you got fine hair now. All right. So you saw me layer that back out a little bit. Now let's go fine hair. All right. So let's take the front, for example. All right. Now, remember what I said. You're going to find, where does that comb come off? At the head. Look where it comes off, approximately right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this point here as my guide. So that's going to be my point of reference as my guide. From here, I'm going to take and layer that off and round it off. So now, once again, that allows me to leave the perimeter weight here. Here's what I see people doing. I'm going to layer this out. So they take a long vertical section, they pick it up and start doing this and start determining what point of reference are they going to use. If I understand the head shape, just understand that head shape. There it is there. There's my point of reference. All right. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take a vertical section here, eliminate what it is I'm cutting. Stay with me. Okay, I'm going to pick this top section up. That's what's going to be cut. Now here's my point of reference for my guide. Okay, let's give you a back view of this. Okay, see that? So 3/4. There we go. Okay, so now watch. As I lift this up, that short piece right there, that's my guide. This corner is what comes off, that corner. So can you see I'm leaving my weight, especially in that front area? I'm leaving my weight. There's that tip there, and cut to it. Okay, now let's continue. Now I'm going to over direct everything to that stationary guide. Why? Because I'm getting less sparse up here. So I don't want to move my guide forward. I want to leave it to a stationary guide. So once again, watch me comb. Notice when I'm layering the hair and graduating, what teeth of the comb am I working with? With the fine teeth. Okay, so I come through, up. Okay, there's my guide. I can see my guide, cut to that. So all I'm doing, guys, is I am simply taking off that top corner of the top, but I'm rounding that out to that 1 point of 1 length. That's what I'm doing there. Okay, so notice how I'm working with the comb. Fine teeth, wide teeth. Okay, detangle. Okay, I'm ready to cut. Fine teeth. Fine teeth when I graduate and I layer. Wide teeth when I cut 1 length hair. I have a lot more control. Now watch what I've done. So I've gone through, watch how I've kept my solid bob shape, but she said, I'm ready for some layers. So now watch what happens when I go through and I come through and I brush this. Okay, now I've been able to maintain my bob, but now I've put some layering through that. Okay, so see how simple it was in terms of me. When you find that this is point A, watch. Follow me here. If this is point A, okay, and over here is point B, I want you to take this marker and I want you to draw me as straight of line as you can from that to that. Okay, I guarantee you what's going to happen is you're going to miss it. But if I put a point here, a point there, now I say connect A to B, you're going to connect the dots so that you're able to get a straighter line. I'm going to connect the dots. Okay, there's a dot there too. Okay, see how I'm connecting these dots? But these straight lines, because this is a round surface, the head, they automatically round themselves out. That's what's so great in terms of understanding the basics, guys. All right, did you get a lot out of this, guys, in terms of really knowing where we're at? I really wanted to just really take it from a bob and kind of just give you some basics. I mean, kudos to Andrew Crothers, our education director, who developed this cutting system for us. I think we all cut hair the same way. It's just the language sometimes and the mechanics. Understand, guys, if you understand the basics and you understand how you get the results or why you get the results you get, you're going to be much more successful with your time behind the chair. Remember, that's what I'm talking about. I know you're a good hairdresser, but I want you to understand the difference of cutting with a foundation, fundamentals, principles, understanding movements. It's going to save you a lot of time behind the chair. Kurt, come on back up, buddy. I can't hear you.
Let me get myself going. There we go. Sam, that was just an amazing class today.
Thank you.
Going down to the fundamentals and still bringing so much to the audience today. The comments are off the charts today. I think everyone's having a great day of learning with you.
Oh, great, buddy. I think, there's so much more to get into that I would love to get into. But I think that, for those students that are out there, you're the rainbows of the future. You're the ones that we need to really, really help to get up to some good standards. I want you to always understand something. I once sat where you sat. And if there's anything I want you to do, there were so many times that I was not paying attention that I look back and wish I would have been paying attention, because I would not have had to relearn some things again. So when you're in school, make sure you go to school with intent and purpose, understand why you're there, and understand it's not about learning cool stuff. That comes later. What you have to learn is strong, strong fundamentals and strong, strong basics in that. All right, Kurt, what we got coming up, buddy? I know we got some great stuff coming up. Here we go, guys. Let's take a look at August and see what we've got coming up. Tomorrow is what? Wednesday. Yes. Andrew will be back from his extended weekend. We hope he's had a great time with his beautiful wife, Michelle, camping and enjoying their quality time together. And he'll be back, I'm sure, with a Rock the House Wellness Wednesdays as his special guest is Ronette Enos. And this is all about changing your money story, which a lot of people right now, I know a lot of us are financially strapped. Don't forget, if you want a hands-on class, say yes. Come on, type yes. Type yes. You want a hands-on? Do you want me hands-on, guys? Yes. Do you want to cut along with me? Yes. Type it. Yes. If you're interested in that and you want to do that, then I want to see you sign up for the Redkin Exchange class that I'm virtual live class that I'm doing August the 23rd. That's from 2 to 5 p.m. Please go there and sign up now. Get a spot. You will need a mannequin that's not been cut. I'm going to walk you through a long hair trick that's awesome. And then I'm going to take you through a haircut that has a little bit of 90s inspiration. And I'll stop there. That's happening August the 23rd. That's going to be with Ruth Roach, Lauren Hagen, and Adina Das and myself. Don't miss that class. Type a yes if you're interested in hands-on. Okay, so go to redkinpro.com/education and sign up for that class. Also, I'm excited to be a part of the August 24th, the BT show online. That's August 23rd and 24th. Myself and Redkin colorist Lori Zabel will be on August 24th. We go on at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is going to be a great weekend of education. I believe that behind the chair, they've got like up to 50 artists performing that weekend. And I'm honored to be a part of that show happening. Our session, once again, is the Redkin Mizani session. Yes, that's right. Mizani with texture. You're going to see some great people there. August the 24th, 11 a.m. Then don't forget, yes, there's a little bit of an overlap. Andrew, our blow dry, what is that? Blow dry bonanza. Yep, blow dry bonanza. That's happening with Andrew at 11 a.m. Sorry, that's just at the same time. We don't make up that BT schedule. They make it up. So we just understand that Sam Villa is going to be out there at 11 a.m. on our channel for YouTube and social media. That's the 24th at 11 a.m. And then I'm excited, Kurt, the following Tuesday, what do we have coming up that next week?
We really have. The lineup just keeps coming. Guys, if you love the education today, our whole point is that we're not going to nonstop you. We're going to just keep educating. As long as you're willing to show up, we're going to keep educating. What did we have last week of the month?
Now, this guy that I have coming up August 24th, I absolutely love this guy, George Joa. If you've never had the opportunity to see this guy, I want you to catch him August the 25th at 11 a.m. here on Transformation Tuesday. I'll be here with him. So make sure you check this out. This guy's phenomenal with long hair. He's phenomenal with cutting. This guy's talented all the way around. Don't miss that. I want you to really share this one on August the 25th. The 26th, Wellness Wednesday. We've got Jen and Matt Martinelli taking the big leap, and they have Canvas Me, which is an awesome, awesome program. Make sure you check it out August the 26th with Wellness Wednesday, Jen and Matt Martinelli. And then we go our show. The show must go on. Jesse Linares will be taking the weekend off. We're all set for August the 30th. The show must go on. Our topic is lived in precision. That's right. That's right. Lived in precision. Think about it. Organic is happening, but how do you achieve it in a precision way, in a fundamental way, in a way to break it down so it makes it simple? And then joining us is the incredible Mizani Global Artistic Director featuring, we'll be featuring Tippy Shorter. So she'll be joining us. It's going to be all about texture, all about what Tippy does, and that's just phenomenal. I'm so excited to have her. So that's the rest of August, Kurt. And then don't forget our Artist Series combs. They're on sale today for you, so make sure you check that out. Kurt, I've had a great time, buddy.
Same here, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it to you, and I'll step aside. Everyone, we really enjoyed it today. And Sammy, why don't you sign off for us?
Yes.
Oh, not me. We'll let Sammy do that job. Sam, go ahead.
All right, guys. So don't forget, one of the things that I'm really prepping for is that August the 23rd, 24th weekend coming up. I really want you to see, I want to see you for the hands-on class. And then I want to see you at 11 a.m. on Monday for the BTC show with Ruth Roach, myself, Lauren Hagen, and Adina Das. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me. Always do me a favor, respect yourself, respect your hands, and most of all, respect each other. Thanks for watching.